Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. You're joining me today fishing at Shoreham. Now I'm hoping there might be some flatties around, but it's been quite still for a few days. There's a little bit of colour in the water at the edge, it's not crystal clear, and it's still really a bit too early to be hoping for the first arrival of the plaice. But if we don't go out and try, we don't know what's in front of us. So flatties is the target for the day. There might be some dabs, flounders, plaice about, who knows, we'll find out. Bait, I've only got frozen bait today. Again, kept nice and cool in my bait pack from Tronics Pro. We have, I think there's 3 wraps of frozen lug in there. And I've got some frozen razors. And that's all being kept cool with a nice ice pack. So I can put anything left over back in the freezer to use another day. So that's the bait. In terms of rigs, I am going with, I think I've got 2 hook loop rigs here. Let me take a look at what I brought with me. They are, so see, 3 hook loop rigs. Oh, going all out for it, 3 hook loop rigs. I've got a 3 hook loop rig that I'm going to untangle in a minute. Untangle, hopefully not untangle, but unwind it. And on there are size 2 Varivas Aberdeens. And I've got a little bit of tubing on the bottom snood to help kick it away from that lead. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll have seen that already. But in case this is your first one, we'll take a good look at this rig. So that's the plan. I'm a little bit tired today. The Christmas break has felt quite long. And I've had a lot of people over, doing a lot of stuff, trying to fit things in here and there. And I'm definitely peopled out from all the festivities. You know, I like to come fishing for the peace and quiet. And that's really why I've come down today. There's not been any decent catch reports about, but sometimes it's just about getting out, clearing your head and chilling out on the beach. So I might have to take my glasses off to do this. I'm at that kind of age where I can't see with my glasses and I can't see without them. I'll need my glasses to drive and see at distance, and then I need reading glasses to see anything up close. So I'm just going to peer over the top. The perils of being 50, eh? One day I might get some varifocals, but for now, this is what I've got. I have to use my reading glasses when I'm at the computer. And as for tying hooks online, well, you can imagine what that's like when you can't see what you're doing. For those of you that remember Fisho, he's here as well today. He's fishing just along that way. He might come say hello to me later, but I know he doesn't like being on camera. So there we go, here's the rig. Got that sorted out. So the snood's 18 inches. I'm going kind of that with a standard length these days. At the top, we have some oval beads trapping the little size 6 swivel and a half an SRT spring. And that's an 18-inch snood. I think it's actually 0.4 fluorocarbon. I'm just tending to make all my rigs with fluorocarbon snoods these days. So if it's clear, I'm covered. If it's not clear, it doesn't matter. And we've got the little bait stop there. It's just a sequin and a little rubber stop on the line. And there is that size 2 Varivas Aberdeen, lovely sharp hook. The middle snood, we have the cascade swivel there. Again, trapped between these 2 little oval beads and some rig gum stops. So there we go. Also with an 18-inch snood, down to that size 2 Varivas Aberdeen. There we are, and the same deal there with the bait stop. And then the bottom snood, just to make sure I don't get this too tangled. So you can see how that bit of tube just helps kick the snood away a little bit from that lead. There we go. And that just helps stop it getting tangled up. To some extent. That bit of tube's about 2.5 inches long. I find that length works quite well. Maybe 3 inches would also be good, but certainly I don't like to go shorter than 2.5 inches on that. And there we have the bait stop again and the cascade swivel on that snood. I haven't got any mini snood clips. I like to put a little mini snood clip there so I can unclip that bottom hook to aid unhooking through the gills, but I've run out of those and I need to get back down to Christchurch angling or get online to their website and order some more because they do some nice range of sizes for a decent price. So a little plug there for Tom Bagnall Shop. Great guy, makes some nice videos. Check out his YouTube channel. Especially, he put one up really recently catching an awesome fish. So go check out Tom Bagnall's channel, Fishy Tom. He is. Anyway, there's our rig choice for the day. My reels, I've got with me my Daiwa super tuned again. One of which was a little bit too lively on my last session. I haven't actually rectified that yet, but I will do. I'll be thumbing it again today. This is the tamer one of the two. I made sure I remembered which was which by adjusting the mags to max for the tame one, and the fiery one's on min, so I remember that it's fast. And they are going to go on my 2-piece competition performance rods. So yeah, that's it. That's the plan. See if we can get some flatties. 2-3 loop rigs on the go. I might fish out a third rig. As I said, I'm tired. I'm here to chill out, so I'm not going to worry too much about keeping a spare rig baited up unless the fishing turns out to actually be better than I thought. See you shortly when I've got the rig baited up and we're ready to cast out. Right, so that's got the reel on the rod, line up the eyes, rig clipped on. I get out some of my frozen bait so it can defrost so I can use it. What's that, 3, 6, 7, 8. I get out 10 razors. I'll pop those back in the cool bag in a minute. In fact, I'll do that right now. And I've got a wrapper lug out there, so they're good to go. So they'll still be a little bit frozen now, but in half an hour, that'd be just right. I'll pop that bait down out of the way. I'm going to go with just lug to start with. I find it a little bit easier to deal with when it's still frozen, if I can find the end of the paper. That's how frozen they are still. I did get them out of my freezer a few hours ago, but they've been in that cool bag, which does keep them very frozen. Oh, really is frozen. Try a different one. A proper frozen solid. I keep my bait freezer at -20, so they do stay nicely frozen. Really nice worms these. They got frozen down straight away. Better bait than I had on my last session. If you watched my last video, you'll see I was very unconvinced by the state of my bait. So I'm just taking the heads off those worms. And now we do the same with the sandy tails. Just by snipping those sandy tails off, they don't add anything. So that helps with your bait. And snipping off the heads. It's all about letting the juices flow out to let the fish find that scent. A little bit hard getting it on the bait needle when it's really frozen, but there we go, it's on there. They'll defrost a little bit while I'm holding them. Get the second one on. Go on you go. That's it. I want to make sure the bait needle doesn't exit the worm before we end, if I can help it. I don't like having little loopy bits in my bait presentation. I don't think it helps you hook fish. I think that it gives them a bit more to tug at to try and get the worm off. So I always take quite a lot of care to make sure that the bait needle goes in once and out once. Some people do it differently. That's just the way I like to do it. So we're going to get this bait on. There we go. Slide that up. Now that bait stop is actually perfectly positioned there. Hopefully you can see that. I'll come just a little bit closer. So we want that bait stop so it's just touching the top of the worm. Hold it in place on the cast. And we'll do the same with the other two. I made up a lot of rigs recently, so normally I use stop knots. Of course, some swans just flown overhead. Usually I use stop knots, but I was making up so many rigs I couldn't face tie in all those stop knots. So I'm actually using these little rubber stops that you can use just to stop the sequin. They're not quite as good as stop knots in my view, because they don't grip quite as much, but I'm not the best caster in the world. Not that there's anything wrong with my casting. but I'm not going to be sending it 200 yards. And I think they work all right for me. For those people who can cast really far distance, they might need something a bit stronger. Anyway, we're going to get this clipped up and then we'll get it sent out. So here we go. So I've got a splash down on the bottom, and I'm going to put the bottom hook in that, and that'll stay there nicely. And then I made these at home. When I make them at home, I don't position all the swivels on the rig body in the right place. I find it easier to do that on the beach. At home, I tend to set them a little bit too high. So you can see here I've got a big loop of line in the rig body, so I need to move that middle swivel down. There we go, now it's perfect. Bring its other stop knot down, move the rod a little bit, slide that down. So we want to leave a tiny bit of breathing room. I can just move that top swivel a few millimetres, and that allows that swivel to do its job and move around if needed. And then we do the same with the top one. So get that on, slide it down. I want a tiny bit of tension in the spring, not too much. A little bit less than that. And then I'm going to slide the top stop knot down. It's a little bit less tension. So if I can just bring that over, you can just see there, hopefully there's a tiny little bit of tension in that half a spring. And that is now good to go. So we get it chucked out. Wish me luck. It's going to be a good session. Am I kidding myself? Probably. It's not been fishing well. But we're out fishing. And if we weren't out fishing, we wouldn't be catching anything. So let's hope we can beat the blank today, and we'll see how it goes, targeting these flatties. Let's get these baits launched. So back to about 2 o'clock, I've checked the drop length. It's not wrapped around the top eye, and we're good to go. And my mags are still on mags. That's good, it didn't lift at all. I can feel those mags slowing it down today. But that's using these more streamlined leads, going for a bit more distance than the other day. Did I say yesterday? Whenever it was. The other day when I was fishing. See how tired I am? I can't even remember when I went fishing last. Saying yesterday. Anyway, we're out again today. Let's get this in the tripod. I'm going to need a cup of tea soon, clearly, to get my mind awake. See you in a second. Well, both rods are out. The one on the left with the lively reel, which did fluff up on my cast, has got 2 hooks with razor and 1 with lug. So mix it up a little bit. I'm going to go and get some water in the bucket now so I can rinse my hands off. And if we catch a fish, it's got somewhere nice to sit while it recovers. So let's go get that water. I'll take you down with me. You can have a look at the sea conditions then. You can see, well, you've probably seen already that it's absolutely flat. I'll take you down here near the edge. You can see there's still a bit of colour in the water, even though it's been calm for quite some time. So there you go. Not exactly clear. I've seen more filthy, of course. But it's going to be blowing up again soon, so that'll stir it up. There we are. And now we've got some water in our dry foot bucket. I haven't actually got the extra rope with me. You can chuck these buckets in and pull it back. Don't need to do that here on a nice calm day. I can just get in up to my ankle, fill it up. Let's get back up and watch those rods. Well, it's time to reel in soon, and because I haven't got a spare rig on the go, I can at least get some worms on my bait needle ready to go back out. This time I'm going to go with 2 lug and a razor, and we're going to obviously I'm going to reel in the one I chucked out first. It's been out there about 20 minutes. No sign of any action whatsoever. So get these worms trimmed. They're still frozen. That's how cold it is down here today. They haven't even started to defrost. Certainly a tad chilly. With that northerly wind as well and the mist in the air adding to the chill. I'm glad I got the shelter just to keep the little bit of breeze off me that there is here. In fact, there's virtually no wind at all, but you can feel the temperature difference when you're out the shelter. Right, there's 2 lug on there. And then we need a razor fish. These were razorfish I collected that had been storm damaged. I got these down Pevensey Bay. There's massive razor beds down there. And you get these nice little razors. I'm going to trim that end off. It's got a bit of freezer burn. These nice little razors down there. Oops, throwing away old used rigs, look. At the end of my sessions I cut the hooks off. And then when I get round to it, I'll give them a rinse under the tap, put new hooks on. So put this little bit of razor on. It really is a small piece. And that's going to need some elastic. Got my Baytex. And we'll give that a whip. I'm going to put a tiny bit around these lug as well, just to give them a bit of body when they're on the hook, because they are frozen rather than fresh. Just a gentle whip. I don't need much. It'll just help them hold their shape. So there we go. We've got my kebab skewer bait ready to go. And we'll take a look, see if we've got anything. While I'm here chatting away, if you've been enjoying my videos, please do consider subscribing to the channel. It makes a difference to me because it helps promote my channel on YouTube and it costs you absolutely nothing. But there we go. There's our kebab, our 2-worm razorfish kebab, all good to go. And we get reeled in, get the old bait off the hook. So I'll pop that back in my little bait tray there, pop it on the box. Yeah, and let's get reeled in. Right, the one on the right, this is the one I chucked out first. Let's get this in, see if anything's had a go at these baits. So even though I'm after flatties today, to be honest, as I said at the beginning of the video, today for me was more really just about getting out, getting away from humanity. I'm coming down the beach for a break from it all. That's probably why quite a lot of us go fishing really, a bit of peace and quiet, clear the head, chill out. It's not always about coming down to catch some fish. Right, we're near the edge. Oh, leading up. Right, has anything had a go at the baits is the question, because I haven't seen any bites. We've got a bit of tangling going on, but yes, the 2 top hooks, something's definitely had a go at those. Look at that one. Something's pulled that worm round. But I'm going to get this untangled, get those baits off, and we get those other fresh baits on. So I didn't put any elastic on that, but it shows really that I needed to. Something's had a go at that middle hook. The bottom one's untouched for sure. Anything could have been pulling. Those could even be little crabs or something out there. Right. Twist that. It was just a bit twisted around the snood. But yeah, that one, don't know if you can make that out from this distance, but that's completely untouched. The top one I'm convinced something had a go at. Probably the middle one. Definitely not the bottom one. Right, let me just grab my bait needle and give my hands a quick wipe. Right, let's get these baits on. I'm going to put the razor on the bottom hook, just because I fancy doing it that way, no other reason. Hold that nice and tight. Slide the bait stop down. That worm's obviously quite a bit smaller than the last one. And the middle one. That stood round. There we are. And a tiny little razor. Hopefully there's enough razor there for these size 2 hooks, because that is a very small bit of fish, right? Bit of razor fish. Obviously I know it's not an actual fish. I'm not that tired. Right. Just about enough to fill that hook. Get a little bit over the top eye. There we are. So get all this clipped up, get it sent on its way. Right, let's get it in that splashdown. I'm definitely preferring using these splashdowns to the imps that I always used to use. I think it's just because casting off the ground it just holds that hook in place. I don't have it come unclipped when I lay the lead on the deck, as long as I keep it sort of somewhat tight to keep the other hooks clipped in, but that bottom one doesn't come off. Anyway, that's enough of me chatting. We have here some delicious baits to send out into the abyss. So let's get the drop length right and then we'll get it whacked out. So there we go, that's where I like my drop. Let's cast it out. So here we go, we're going to send it out to the abyss. The dog walker coming along, so I need to be reasonably quick here. Don't want to hit anyone with a lead, but I think they're waiting. There we are. Not the best cast in the world because I'm a little bit tired, but it's out there. Well, time to check the baits on the other rod. Again, I've got my bait needle already. I've got one razor on there. Well, in fact, it's actually two razors doubled up for one hook because I decided it was a little bit small when I put that last one on, and a couple of lug ready to go on. So we're going to get the one I chucked out second reeled in and see if anything's had a go at that. Again, I haven't seen a single touch. I've had two chucks, but I've been fishing for about 45 minutes altogether, from the first one going out to the second one, etc, etc. But yeah, let's get this reeled in and checked. So this is a really good venue a lot of the year. Like I say, it's a bit quiet now, but given in a few weeks' time, if the weather stays fairly settled, this will be a plaice fishing spot to come. It's not as popular as Brighton. Brighton's obviously the plaice fishing place, but here's a second choice. And this is actually where I filmed a video last April called Plaice Fishing Paradise. So if you're thinking about doing some plaice fishing and you haven't seen that one, check it out. It might have some tips in there that can help you fish this venue for plaice. Me and my friend Becky, we had over 50 plaice between us that particular day. So yeah, if you're doing a bit of prep for the plaice season, you can see what rigs and tactics we used in there. I'm sure I would have covered some of that. But yeah, it was a good day. And on its day, here can fish very well. Still need some distance to get the better place like you do down Brighton, but it's a nice little spot for some plaice fishing. So that video is called Plaice Fishing Paradise, and you can find it on my channel. Like I say, I put it up last April. Anyway, have we got anything on here? Here it comes. There's a bit of tide pull from left to right at the moment. Tide's still coming in. And have these baits been touched? The razor on the bottom hook looks like something's had a little munch on it. Again, could just be crabs. Let's take a look. But you can see those top two hooks, like that lugworm there, if I can get it near the camera. Ooh, it's spinning. That's completely untouched. Whereas this razor at the bottom here, something's pulled that round the hook. I'm guessing just little scrappy things out there. Like I say, possibly crabs. So we're going to get these baits changed. And get it sent back out. So that bit of razor, actually I'm going to keep that on there. Just been pulled around the hook. It's actually in pretty good nick. I'll do the same with the middle one, just slide it up. I'll stick a lugworm underneath one of those. And that other bit of razor I got ready can go on with one of them. So we get this lug off. Seeing this lug come in makes me more convinced on that first chuck on the other rod. Something had a go at those baits. Right, get the bait out. So I'll start at the bottom. I'm going to put that razor on the bottom hook with the bit that's left on there. That slid round just a bit above the eyes to hold it in place. And then we've put the lug on the other two. So top off this little razor fish with a bit of worm. Get the bait stop in the right spot. There we go. And the last one. So there we go, all rebaited. Good to go once I've got it clipped up. Oh, I've got a bit of detritus in my tip eye. Get that off. Nobody likes that, do they? Especially on a lively reel that's liable to crack off any minute. Oh, I shouldn't say that, should I? It's tempting fate. There we go, good to go. Just got to sort the drop length out. And there we have it. Juicy baits ready to go out to the abyss. So I'll try and cast this a little bit to the right, given the way the tide's pulling. So I'm going to angle myself that way. Oh, you can guess what my lively beast of a reel has done to me. This one may take some time. At least it didn't go snap. Actually, it's not too bad. Just one little bit I had to get out there. The rest is just a bit of a loose line. I only went half the distance I wanted it to though. Get that last bit out. That's it. Field casting reels, eh? Really should slow them down. It's not even a warm day, so the oil's not going to be super runny, is it? Anyway, baits are back out. Not at the distance I wanted. Maybe that is where the fish are. Well, we've got the baits back out, and it's time to warm up my cold hands. So let's get the jet boil on. Have a cup of tea. I do love a cup of tea. Right. This was a very worthwhile investment for me. Lighter than a flask. So it's, compared to carrying a flask that's got enough in it for a decent session, I can carry some bottles of water and my jet boil, and I get a lovely hot cup of tea. I made sure I bought one that's got the inbuilt ignition, because I know what I'm like. I'd forget a lighter because I don't smoke. I'd have nothing to light it with, and I'd be very sad because I'd be drinking cold water. Right, let's get this on. I did actually have a cup of tea this morning before I left home. I've made time for that. I decided an espresso just wasn't going to cut it, even though I get more of a hit from an espresso. Right, let's get this on. Enough of me chatting. Let's get a brew on. Right, let's light the thing. That's it. I'm going to need to refill my gas canister soon. It's getting a bit light. But we've got enough in there for today. Oh, I see your breath. It's so cold. There we have it. Yeti cup at the ready. And milk. I'm all sorted. God, there's a bit of a dump coming in now. I don't know if you can hear the sea in the background. You probably can. Yeah, there's a little bit of a dump. It's actually clearing out a little bit. The edge, the first 10 yards has still got some colour. After that, it is definitely looking clearer. I reckon another couple of weeks and we might see the first plaice down here. But there's still no touches on those rods. I'm going to go with it's probably little crabs or something picking at those baits. I did actually catch a crab on my last session out, so I know they're around. You might have seen that in my video, a little tiny one like that it was. I'm conjecturing that purely because I haven't seen the rod tips move at all. I'm watching them now while making a cup of tea. But anyway, everyone, how was your New Year? How was your Christmas? What's your fishy challenges for 2025? To be honest, I haven't really thought about it. I've got my usual one, which is still I want to catch a 50cm plaice, which is why I've got my faster reels out, my 2 fast reels out. I've been making up loads of rigs to get ready. I've still got to make up some Bagnall bar rigs so that I can have 1 hook rig so I can get that a little bit further, which is what you really need for the bigger plaice around this part of the world. I'm also going back to Norway in April. That's all booked, so I'm looking forward to that. Hoping to better my halibut. Oh, we're boiling. I caught a small halibut this in 2024 on my last trip over there. It was my first one. Not the biggest, probably about £3 if I'm lucky. But it was the target species and it was my first one, so I was very happy with that. What I'd really like is one about £20–30. Yeah, I'm not greedy. I don't want a 100-pounder. Just one that's going to put a bend in the rod. Let me get it in. And yeah, give me a bit of sport. Anyway, let's leave that cup of tea to brew and cool down for a bit before I put the lid on. I'd put the lid on if I didn't want to drink it straight away, but I do because I'm in need of some caffeine. So yeah, that's the 2024 plans really. So 50cm sole, plaice, not sole. I'd love to catch a 40cm sole, but I didn't have much time on the sole last year like I would normally do. Maybe I'll try and make a bit more time from this year. We'll have to see how it goes. Norway in April. I want to get down and fish Tissot a few times. I like the bream fishing down there. I'd love to catch a cod down there. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes really. Let us know what your plans are. Look at that beautiful razorfish bait. Let's get it cast out. Length's good. Put the hood down. And we're good to go. Mags are still on max. Let's hope it doesn't go crack. There we are. Those boats have been launched out to sea. Well, I've been here a couple of hours now and it is totally dead. We've gone high tide, it's on the ebb. I'm going to keep trying this. Just starting to rain. The mist is moving in a little bit further, so in a minute that camera is going in the shelter. But when I get the lively reel reeled in, see if there's anything on there. I've got my bait needle ready, like a kebab with its worms and razorfish on, ready to rebait. So I'm going to get that reeled in I'll bring you back if there's any sign of action on those hooks. See you in a minute. Well, those baits were untouched, but look, I've reloaded that hook. Look at that beautiful razor. There we've got a razor and lug cocktail and a beautiful lug there on the top hook. So it's not my baits this time. Last session I was saying I had pretty naff bait. I was getting bites but missing them. Today we've got really nice bait. Not a single touch from a fish in the sea. Anyway, we're going to keep trying. I've still got some time. It could all change. At some point it has to, or else we'd blank every session, wouldn't we? So at some point these fish are going to come on the feed and I'm going to keep trying. I'm actually going to try casting this one in closer to see if I can pick something up close in. This is my very lively reel though, so my thumb won't be coming off the spool. But let's hope I can do this without snapping off. Let's go. Because I want it in close. It's going to be easier to get it in close if I stand further away from the sea. Right, shortest drop, little overhead flick, thumb staying on the spool. Perfect. That's out about 30 yards, which is just what I wanted to do. If I don't try something different, the outcome is likely to be the same. So I've got to switch it up. Try different distances. So I was just talking about switching up tactics when my battery died in the GoPro. I'm saying I've only got the 2 baits with me. I'm already trying both of those, so I can't switch that up anymore. I could put different rigs on, but today, as I said at the beginning, I was a bit tired. Today was more about getting out and chilling. So I'm going to stick with the 2 rigs I've got, but I am going to vary the distances I'm sending the baits to see if I can pick anything up. But to be honest, it's pretty dead. There's only one person fishing that way now towards the arm, and there were quite a lot of people fishing that way behind the camera. But now there's the guy next to me is packing up and he got here after me. There's a couple of guys further along the beach who look like they're packing up as well, and everyone else has already gone home. I'm going to stick at it for at least another hour, possibly a bit longer, and see how we get on. I'm going to go and finish my cup of tea. It stayed nice and hot, even though I made it a very long time ago, in that Yeti mug that is a revelation and has upped my game when it comes to cup of tea out fishing. So we're going to keep trying and hopefully we can still pick up some fish. We will see. Well, I filmed quite a lot of me whittering on to the camera, so let's film some fishing. I'm going to reel in. Let's see if there's anything happened on the end. The tide is now definitely going out properly into the ebb. I can only see 3 other people fishing down here now. It's a sign. The mist keeps thickening and clearing a little bit and then thickening back up and clearing a little bit. There's a lot of moisture in the air. The rod's quite wet. The reel's wet, the shelter's wet. The camera is slightly in the shelter, trying not to get it wet. That'd be expensive, wouldn't it? Getting a wet camera, because they're not waterproof. Neither's the mics. Right, any sign of life? The leader's about to come down, there we go. Has anything attacked the baits? Nope. They are looking exactly like they did when I sent them out. I'm still going to put fresh bait on. I'm not going to be super lazy. If I'm lazy, then I can blame me for not catching anything rather than there being nothing in front of me. So we've got to keep trying. Let's get that worm off. Oops, dropping it. Come here. My fingers are a little bit cold. Absolutely untouched. And the last one. Let's get the hook out my boot. There we are. Right. Time to reload with these beautiful baits. Look at that. You can't tell me today that my baits are putting off those fish, because they are really decent worms. I know they're not fresh, but they were fresh frozen, vac packed, stored at -20. Should be absolutely nothing wrong with these. There we are, all done. Time to clip it up and then we're good to go. I've been fishing the other rod in close. That's doing just as much as this one, i.e. nothing. Loaded up and good to go. I'm going to get these chucked out and see if we can pick up that fish. Let's get them out there. Not going to catch anything with the bait's not out. I'm not going to catch anything sat at home. Our best chance of catching is to be down here on this beach, giving it my best. Living my best life. Right. There we go, nicely a little bit to the left, just what I wanted. The way the tide's pulling a little bit to the right, cast a little bit to the left. But we're back out there, not the best cast again. Not casting very well today because I am that little bit tired. Did I say I'm tired? Anyway, the baits are back out in the water. Well, what a session, eh? What a session. You could say it's been on fire, or not. This about sums it up. That I've just reeled this in, untouched. What about the middle hook? Untouched, and the top hook, untouched. So it's time for me to call it a day. You know what? I didn't come out expecting much. I didn't think I was going to blank, but it beats sitting at home. My goal was to come out and just get some headspace, enjoy being on the beach and trying to catch something. It's called fishing, it isn't called catching, we all know that, but it beats sitting at home. I could have been sitting at home twiddling my thumbs or making more rigs or whatever, but I needed to get out, needed to try and catch something, and that's been that. So I've been out targeting winter flatties at Shoreham. We haven't managed to catch any, we haven't been inundated with whiting either, and it's been slow. So that's it till next time. If you've enjoyed the video, please consider clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel. And if you already have done that, thank you so much. It does mean a lot to me, even if I don't know you personally. Getting those likes and subscribers really makes my day. So that's it now, and I'll see you next time when hopefully there's going to be a few more fish about. Time for me to pack up, get home, and warm up. See you later, guys.